You actually have no idea what I'm doing.
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll scoot in a little bit here. Okay. So you have no idea why you've been summoned today?
No.
How long have we known each other?
Let's say a year and a bit.
A year. And if you could tell the world, what's your name?
I'm Jaden.
And what do you do, Jaden?
I'm a software engineer.
So I'm just gonna ask you a question just to gauge your opinion, but you have to tell me the truth.
Okay.
Okay. Do human beings deserve free shelter?
Do human beings deserve shelter? Free shelter?
Free shelter.
I'm gonna... yes. Yes.
Why?
Why do human beings deserve free shelter? I think specifically in Canada, isn't that one of our, I can't remember exactly, it's like one of our chartered rights, I believe. It's like the right to shelter, the right to wear clothes and whatnot. But me personally, why do I think that is the case? Because I think it's a necessity to pretty much survive. I think even if you're homeless, you still deserve to be under shelter, if that's what you're meaning and asking.
And do you think it's ever possible, like, that you and I will live in a world where housing is free?
Where housing is free? I think it's possible, yeah.
Oh, you think it's possible? How do you think it's possible?
I
Really?
think it would be possible.
Most of the people I talk to say it's something that I agree with morally, that people deserve free shelter, because it appears to be a human right to a lot of our consciences. But they say it's impossible. How do you think it's ever possible that we would live in a world where shelter's free?
I mean, I think a lot would have to change, and it's not necessarily like shelter. It wouldn't just be shelter. I think a lot of things would be free. You know, like the standard like income that people would just get, like a base level of income. I think that's probably gonna happen, especially like to use AI. But just as we advance society and on an economic level, everything's going to change, and I think there's going to be a lot of people potentially going to be out of jobs, but not necessarily that we need jobs like in the way that we have them now. Like, I think a lot of what's going to happen is that these people are going to have a lot of like time on their hands, and they don't necessarily need to do anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Kind
of. So like more like robotics, for example, like, you know, like mowing the lawn, like that's just going to be like a robot one day. I mean, that's just the simplest example, but that's going to be happening on like a very large scale.
And if you gave, because the thing about free housing is there's such a strong connotation to the homeless and housing low income individuals. But if the world were suddenly finger snapped, everyone was given a free apartment, do you think that would lead to good or that would lead to bad?
If everyone was given a free apartment?
And they have the key and they don't need to sign a lease, it's theirs forever. Because you told me that along with Canada registering it as a charter,
like a legal,
right?
Charter
Yeah.
right.
Do you think that it's a good thing for people to have a free home?
As of right now, or is in this futuristic thing that I just kind of brought up, where there's actually just not anything that people can do? Like, there's going to be like a small number of jobs that maybe humans will be working at, but then like 90%, 95% of them won't be. Like, there's going to be
in that
job.
future.
In that future, would it be bad?
Yeah.
Like, well, that's like a deeper question. Like, do we want that? Like, what are the people doing day to day? For just shelter, like, I think that would be the only option, because how else would someone make money, I guess, right? So I think there would have to be like a base level of, here are the things that we give you, and that would be like income, shelter, or maybe it's just a base level of income, and then you can go out and use that for housing. But of like right now, it would be different, I think.
As of right now, like if we had a magic genie and they gave everyone in 2025 around the world a roof, that would lead to more good or more bad?
Are we just talking?
Because sometimes, like, when we think about a right, its outcome of how people respond, good or bad, is almost irrelevant when trying to figure out if people deserve it or not. Like, everyone deserves free education, public education, but people use it to, let's say, create atom bombs, or people use it to find the next cure for a disease. Their response to a right is almost irrelevant. So if we give people free homes now, it is a good thing for us to be housed.
Are you asking me if it's a good thing? Can I just ask you what you think would be like a negative for that? I'm just curious. Or
well, some of the counters that I've heard to universal housing is that it removes people's purpose because they don't need to work anymore.
So kind of like welfare? Is that what you're kind of going to?
Well, the thing is that we don't even call public education welfare. There's something about housing where we feel like people need to earn and work for it. I once told a man, what if I gave you a free apartment? He said he would never take it because now he has nothing to work for. And I thought, you have been completely brainwashed, because shelter is a necessity, and you having to work many, many hours just to pay for a basic necessity is people profiting off your survival. Landlord and real estate industry needs you to pay for a place to live, but if no one asked to be alive, why do they need to pay to be here? We didn't ask to be born, but we have to pay to exist. That means that rent is a tax on being born. I'm under the belief that no one in the world is ever really saying that a home should be free. It's not just for homeless people. I think that shelter should never have to be paid for. It's an outdated system. If we all recognize, we don't all need to, but if we all recognize housing as a human right, then we deserve to make that a reality. But because if you give people free housing, you don't get a return on it, why would anyone start something like that? So what I'm proposing is free universal housing, and that's why I'm making this video, is to gauge your first instincts on it. I'm throwing the spaghetti noodle on you to see how you react to it.
But, so like, as far as I'm aware in Canada, like for homeless, if they wanted, we have like a system built where if they wanted, and as far as I know, that they can go and get free housing. And I don't think it's like nice housing, but it would be just like maybe like a room in a building or something like that.
Forever?
That I'm not sure. There's probably a time limit, I imagine, where they try to help you get a job and then get you out as fast as possible, like get you back on track.
The only issue with that is it doesn't tackle the core violation of people having to pay for a place to live, for an unasked for existence. So I'm vouching for homeless people needing a free home, but you need a free home. That because you're alive, you deserve and are entitled to free shelter. And there are no prerequisites. High income, low income, immigrant, non-immigrant, American, Canadian, educated, non-educated. If you got a beating heart and DNA, you deserve a roof.
Like, I think I do agree with that. But then, so what about like food?
Food?
So how does that work?
Like, do I think food is a human right?
Yeah.
I think that everyone should be given free healthcare, free basic nutrition and water, access to free clean water, and shelter.
Okay, but do you think that we should just give like as of right now, like food for free to everyone? Is that the system that you're thinking too?
It isn't my exact passion, because if I were to give people food, it wouldn't look like caviar or ribeye steaks. It would look a little bit more like food, like fruit, vegetables, and some protein. It would look very basic. It would be like, if you do not want to pay for a rotisserie chicken, you can have basic food ready for you. I would classify free food as...
But is that part of like your whole the shelter thing that you're talking about? Like,
No.
So how come it's not though? Because like I would argue that food is more important than shelter. I think we could last longer, like food and water last way longer on like, I mean, it depends on where you're living, but
See, the way I see it, the reason why it's not is because if you look at it, how a person allocates their budget, they
Yeah.
get their paycheck, most of that is
Large
to
percentage.
rent.
Yeah.
So if you were able to free a person's most largest expense,
Yeah.
then they, just like what UBI would do, Universal Basic Income, they finally have the freedom to breathe. And someone once said, freedom without stability is meaningless, because we all think that we're free, but if we are getting paid low wages just to scrap by, that is slavery with just a nicer brand to it. You're free, but we're going to make you work. But because you're not in chains, you don't get to accuse us of slavery. I think it is, but to me, it's not the priority to give free food, because there are organizations like UNICEF or that give people clean water and clean food in emergency crises, and there are homeless shelters that exist to give temporary shelter for people who are living on the streets. But no one has ever said that a roof should never be paid for at all.
Wait, sorry, like this whole idea, like, are you talking about like the average person, so like near you, we would have rent covered? Like,
Yes.
so we're not even necessarily solving a problem for like the people that are currently homeless.
Right.
It's like you're just saying in general,
Yes.
like this, like even at the middle class level, this is probably the biggest stress. That's what you're essentially saying. It's like,
Well, I'm saying that people of any class level should have, in a perfect world, an option of free shelter.
an option for sure. But is that also, like, say I wanted to live in Vancouver, do I have the option to live in Vancouver
Yeah.
and have that free shelter?
Yes.
So how would that work?
So, I mean, how would it work is whoever's building these homes would have to start one at a time, where they want to geographically put that apartment building first. So what they would do is they would run a lottery system so that it's truly fair. That means
Right.
that anyone can apply and live in this unit, and then this organization gives them a key, and they get the key, and the lease does not expire. You could have dogs, you could have cats, you could have a roommate, you could have whatever. It's your place to live.
And then who pays for the building, and how does it? Is it government paying for it, or how does it? What's the upkeep, and like how does that all work?
Well, if you want to know how it would actually work, it would be the organization paying for it.
Which is, who's the organization?
In a perfect world, what if there was a company that paid for everyone's free shelter?
Okay.
They wouldn't look like exquisite furnished apartments that are like a New York high-rise. They wouldn't look like living in a tool shed cabin either. They would look a little bit more like a studio apartment with a kitchenette, a bathroom, and nice windows. Basic living, and things that people in Haiti would kill for. Maybe New Yorkers.
And and that's another
Yeah.
thing. Like, we're just talking about North America right now, or we're talking about around the world.
I think everyone in the world ever, in every country.
So, but is this like a dream that you have, or is this like something that you're planning to like incorporate somehow in this actual 2025 or whatever? Like, is this like how I can understand kind of in North America, but how are you going to do it in, like what you said, Haiti? Like, how does that work? Is this company, and how's this company like profitable? How do they continue going? Who's this company? Like, and then are they going to be going to Haiti and creating like apartment buildings? Like, how is that all work?
So, for example, if a nonprofit is trying to raise money, they can ask for donations, but eventually, how are you going to have billions of dollars worth of donations? You simply can't. But if people who are wealthy park all their money in the stock market, like the S&P 500, they're generating anywhere from 10 to 20% returns every year. So if you have, for example, a company that was able to fundraise $50 million every year, they would have $5 million to play. Now this company uses the profit that they generate through the stock market to build a certain number of apartments. And since they're a nonprofit, they don't need to pay property tax on the land. Some states they do, but they would not build a new apartment if their generated returns that year don't meet it. So if they could only build 12 homes, they only build 12 homes. Now, every wealthy person basically just farms the money because they don't let it sit in a bank. They put it all into their ETFs. I thought that if people use the stock market to retire, why can't you use the stock market as a forever engine of building homes?
But the issue with that is like, compound interest, right? So it's like the reason, like what people do is that they leave the money and keep adding money, and then it compounds and goes up. If you're taking money out all the time, you're going to stay at the base level or go under. So then eventually, yes, you're right. So if they had like $1 billion, they can take like that 10%, which is like $100 million, I guess, and use that to build homes or whatever. But then they can just, that's it. That's all it's going to be forever. It's just $100 million coming in.
And the idea is, I don't even know if someone like Jeff Bezos could house everyone on Earth. There's 8 billion people. But if a company were to successfully build a good amount of apartments and give them to people for free, that seems to be one of the only acts of altruism and kindness, and it would just be like this ripple effect, a spark, a wave that says, holy shit, kids, guess what? Mom and dad came back from work and heard about a company that gives people apartments. It changes the way people see civilization. You're born into the world and suddenly you don't have to pay for a roof. That idea is worth trillions. Now, would we be successful? Would we be able to house everyone? Maybe not, but we send the message, housing's a human right.
Right. Okay, but I think overall, like, that does make sense. But let's say someone that is not making a lot of money, housing's still available for that person. They just have to get, like, roommates and, like, maybe, I don't know. I mean, specifically Vancouver is obviously harder than other places in, like, BC, Canada, or the US. But you can get that monthly amount, that cost, way down, right? Like when Rainbow first came here, I think she was only spending like maybe like $700 a month, right? Because she found a place in North Vancouver that had 5 or 6 bedrooms, and that's how they split it. And obviously that was a couple of years ago, and so the amount would probably be way more now. But there's still options for that. So like, I like that's our current system. So for someone that's not making a lot of money, they can just they don't have to spend that much. They can just live way below their means, right? So is that a bad thing? I'm confused.
I think it's not even good or bad. It's just that if we say that housing is a human right, the human right is not contingent upon your ability or inability to receive it at all. Like, for example, in America, education wasn't available for everyone 300 years ago. It was only reserved for the wealthy. If you were a peasant, the government said you can't go to school because we would lose farmers. But enough people said, well, education seems to be a right for everyone, we need to open it, and then the government said that'll cost too much money. But eventually now every kid can learn.
Subsidized, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Subsidized, like
the education? Like, at least in Canada, I'm not sure about the US. I'm not,
like it's totally free in public.
In Canada?
No, in America.
It's free? What do you mean?
Like if you
like high school?
Yeah. K through 12.
Okay, yeah, but we're not about university.
University, yeah.
Yeah, I understand, okay.
So it's like, yeah, of course a person can live below their means, but it doesn't change the fact that they still deserve it. Yeah, a person may not, may be a really good farmer and they don't want the education, but they still deserve the option to attend school. So I think that whether or not a person can live above or below their means is almost irrelevant to the company's option to give them a free house. If they want a free apartment, they can get a free apartment, and it doesn't matter how much money they make. If they are a human life, they deserve a home. So that's where we're at. And about like the money, like say the company has, say it has 10 million and the returns that year are 10%. Then they only really have 1 million to build homes. A boxable tiny home is around 30 grand. Now imagine how many you can build. I'm not sure, because you'd have to pay for the maintenance of the building, and you have to maybe you pay property taxes, but I think that if you have $10 million parked, $1 million to play every year is pretty good. And sometimes it'll be over $1 million, sometimes it'll be under. If it's under, we wait till the second year But in the past 20 years, the S&P 500 has never had 2 negative years in a row. But all we do is play with the returns. So we never spend the 10 million. We only spend what's above it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But again, so some random company or companies are going to be doing this. Is this like would this be like by law, like a certain, like every company making over a certain amount of money has to give? Like, what exactly is this? I'm confused. I'm pretty confused. Like, that's not how the education system works. Like, that's through taxes. So is this essentially just like a tax? Like,
so this is a registered nonprofit.
So specifically one company.
Yes.
How does this? So this nonprofit works off donations. That's what you said.
They basically are asking the world, do they want to see a future where shelters?
And how come? Again, like back to the food thing. Why is shelter? Do you feel like shelter's a lot easier problem to solve than food and water?
I think that anyone can create the nonprofit and do the change they want to see in the world. I think this company, these group of people who started it, shelter is just personal to them, and they said there are people who have food banks, there are people who have warehouses for clothes. We're going to solve the housing problem, but we're going to be the first company ever to say that housing shouldn't be low cost or affordable, it should be free. That's never been done before. Because in Finland they have this thing called housing first, social housing, but it's only targeted to the poor. And I think that is it's great, and it's kind of like charitable and it's philanthropic, but it's not actually moral. The utopia that we would all live in is everyone's housed. And I think that it's the only reason why this company is doing shelter and not food and water is because it's the largest expense in a person's budget. And in order to have any kind of stable life and family, you need safety. Safety and peace. And a home provides that.
Okay, so
they could have done food and water.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
I understand now. I understand. But I still don't like if a family. I'm just gonna put this question out there. But if a family's struggling, how come they don't just move? Like, say they're struggling in Vancouver. Because there's lots of people who are struggling in Vancouver. Like it's still worth the struggle for them to still live in Vancouver, right? If it was that, if it was that critical to their life, they would move.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have to even move that far necessarily. They could move like a couple hours away, and it'd be way cheaper. For example, like why? But that struggle that they're going through is still worth living in Vancouver.
Right. They've chosen to struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if they've chosen to struggle, that also means that anyone who applies.
Wait, so not to cut you off. Is this for like? I'm just trying to understand. Like maybe someone has like a dream or something. Are these like the people that are like? But they're, I don't know. Let's say that like I created an app or whatnot, right? So let's say that I wanted to quit my job, but then I have to pay rent. And is that like kind of like for this type of person, but they can't like just leave at certain spots, and then they would go to this like kind of like this free housing?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So then they can go out and it would help with innovation. Like what exactly? Yeah.
What it actually is so you go online, you put your information, and at the end of the year, a certain amount of people from that lottery are selected to live in the free housing. And the free housing is an apartment unit, studio, just for them, and they get to decide if they want to live there. Now, you can't build like in 30 countries at once. It'll be one at a time, maybe the major cities in America, and start one by one to move to other countries like Canada or Mexico. But the idea is everyone gets to apply, but everyone gets randomly chosen. So yeah, of course, you have families in Vancouver who very well could move to a cheaper place like Texas, but if you apply for the unit, it's your choice, and it's usually like one location per year that these guys are building. But I think I get your question. It's like, so it is up to the family to suffer, but we are saying this is for those who suffer and those who don't. So it almost doesn't matter if you suffer. Here's a key, regardless who you are.
Yeah.
we would technically give the key to the Rothschild family with a lot of money, or a poor family. But the Rothschilds will never pick this key.
So is it like you don't? It's not even like there's no interview. There's no application.
Lottery.
It's just straight up lottery.
Straight up.
Your name.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the people who would apply to these units, there will be nice units, but the people who will apply, it has to be their primary residence. They can't have two
And then
apartments.
this also work for families? You said studio. So would a family go to this? Is there like 2-bedroom?
Yeah. Most of them are studio apartments. I mean, what it would do is it would calculate in a lottery how many families have applied and how many one or two people have applied, and then sort of build off what the ratio is in that city of applicants. But yeah, there will be 1 or 2 bedrooms, but again, these are basic places. So I know families in Asian countries, they got like 6 kids in one studio, you know what I mean? Like, life's tough. It's going to be hard. The company has to decide what's ethical living. Is ethical living a studio apartment, or is that even privileged? I think a family could live in a 1-bedroom apartment personally, but this company's making up the rules, and I think what's cool about it is, again, if they're saying housing is a right, they're also saying that they're the future of shelter, meaning everyone would possibly be living in these units. And I'll just say one last thing, because I know I'm taking up time, it's 26 minutes, but I don't think the world believes that something like this could happen if the company gets no return on it, because it's basically it's a non-profit. But non-profits, a lot of CEOs for non-profits take a fat check. I mean, this one, I forgot what it's called, but the biggest housing NGO in the world, the CEO takes around $400,000, and it's a non-profit. Yeah, you're running like the biggest housing thing. I think it's Housing First, some bullshit. But what they do is there's something called sweat equity. So anyone who wins their application to have a free home, they literally have to build it with their own hands. And that's cool. You need 250 hours of building in order to qualify for a home. But we think you don't need to have to work for a human right. You don't need to earn a place to live. It's great that they want their lives to be busy and that they're giving them purpose, but even that's outdated. It has a kind intention, but again, doesn't tackle the core violation. Free housing's a right. Free shelter's a right. So this company, the whole leadership team, they don't make any money at all. Their cut is zero. In fact, the only operational costs currently are $80 a year just to run a website. So these 4 guys, they all have jobs, but they give every waking hour to see, can we build apartments for free, and can we get as many people as we can to live in them, and can we change the way people view human life? Landlords suck. Real estate industry sucks. It's just the biggest form of brainwashing to think that your survival has a cost. That is fucked. That's fucked, man.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. Like real estate, especially like in Vancouver, is pretty whack. Because it's not treated as an actual living space. It's straight up just like an investment, right? And it has everything to do with money and nothing to do with some like for example, there's international people in Vancouver will come to Vancouver and buy houses and not even like live in them, right?
Yeah, vacant houses.
Yeah, vacant houses. And I think the government has like kind of cracked down on that a bit, but that was a huge thing. And then they would just, because they know that the value will appreciate. I think there's a lot of problems with that, for sure. So I definitely agree with kind of this like general like
the morality of it.
Yeah, I agree with the morality of it. I don't know like if something like this would work right now. Like I said, like I think I totally see this in the future. I think this will naturally probably happen. Because again, I think like not to bring AI, but like there's a high probability it's going to take over. Like,
but that would
like
mean
crazy.
that the nonprofit is basically rendered useless because all governments in the world would have to make universal housing.
Yeah, probably.
So the reason why this company doesn't work with the government is because the rest of the world doesn't really trust the government. Like California was given around 20 billion bucks to build houses for the homeless, and they only built around 400 units. The rest of the money disappeared. So people don't trust the government. The money went to consultation fees.
Yeah.
Governments, they don't actually put their money where their mouth is, and I don't think anyone trusts the U.S. government. So I think that it's kind of sketchy to ask the government for loans and grants, because they might say, yeah, but we own the land and we'll have surveillance on these units. We don't want to work with the government, but government will have the most money, and the Finland Housing First project, it was directly with the government. So you are saying that with universal basic income,
I guess
shelter,
I guess it would probably be government, but yeah.
The company is called Actum.
Actum.
And three of my friends, we're four together, we just started it this year, and we've been working on it in the past year, and it's going to be public by the end of the year, because we think it's possible.
Okay.
We think it's possible.
Well, so, and again, you're going to ask for donations. Is that how it's going?
We're going to ask for donations and park all of our money in the stock market. And I want to see what the world's response is to building a world where universal housing's real.
Okay. How do you make it so that people trust you guys? You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because that's
it would have to be very public what you guys are doing.
Like
you know the thing with none of this is a necessarily a good example, but could have been a good example, because I'm not sure. I think there's lots of issues with this, but when like Elon went into like the government, like the U.S. government, and like displayed on their webpage like how much money, potential savings. Again, I have no idea what was accurate, what was not. You guys would have to do something like that though, where I feel like this is how much this person donated me, anonymous user, here's the pool of money, this is exactly what we spent this money on. Everything's tracked, so that if any random person can go in and be like, okay, double check that all the costs and everything work out, and you guys are not taking $1 million or whatever it is every year as a salary.
Yeah, that's actually true. I mean, I'm not so technologically adept to know how to be the most transparent as possible. But Surya, he doesn't use blockchain. I mean, we've talked about having like using blockchain to create these receipts of donations, and also tracking where the company credit card goes. But if you go on the website, the huge number pops up of how much money is raised, how many homes are built.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see what exactly we spend our money on, because
you would need the breakdown. Like you can just do that as a general thing, but you need the breakdown.
The world has to trust us, man. And I think what's so cool is that if the leadership team isn't taking a cut and they all work jobs, then they know that
is that what? But I think you guys shouldn't work jobs though, because I think you guys should probably pay yourself something. Like how are you going? Like you'd want to like maximize the amount of time that you could spend on this, right? So I feel like there still should be some sort of salary, or should there not? Like, because what you're essentially saying is that instead of working 8 hours, we're going to work 4 hours.
Well, look, there's a lot of people who have asked to volunteer for this, and the conversation that frequently comes up with the youth is,
or better yet, you live in one of your places that you're building.
That'd be so corrupt. Is a lot of people don't know what they want to do in life. That's the status quo of our generation. But they go into these jobs like the medical field, or they're trying to learn psychology and get a psychology degree so they can be a therapist, because they want to do the right thing and help others. That's great, but I mean, you have to love psychology to be a psychologist. But all I'm saying is, there's going to be a lot of volunteers who want to be a part of something like universal housing, because it's not a simple non-profit charity. It's basically a global revolution. You're restructuring the way human life works. You're saying shelter is free. That's a radical claim. That is insane. And people like it. Like, right now, we have people who message us and say, can I just make content for you? And we said, yeah. And then they send us videos that they've made for us to post because they like the mission. Why aren't we getting a cut? Because I think as soon as you add money to this, Like, this is personal, because I started Actum, and I got these 3 guys to do it. They've been my best friends since school, and they got good hearts. As soon as we get paid for it, it feels like a job rather than something that we want to see through. Now, everyone has passions, and a lot of people get paid for what they love to do, but I think if you want to create something that is so anti-system, that is so rebellious against the government, you shouldn't profit at all. And yeah, maybe we don't work 8 hours like we should, but we only have to do 2 things for this company to be successful. The scaling looks like this. Visibility. People need to know about Actum, so we need to be on the internet, create posts, talk about it, wear merch.
Oh yeah.
And the second is build homes. Without the visibility, we don't have any money. If we don't have any money, we can't build homes. The more homes we build, the more visibility there is. People have to wait 10 years in America for something called Section 8 housing. I don't know if you heard of it. But Section 8 housing is where people with absolutely no money apply, and the government gives them a place to live.
Right, okay.
They wait 10 years for that. This would make families drop to their knees and cry to hear that a group of people are giving you a key.
Yeah.
That's insane and beautiful.
Okay, I have a question though.
Yeah.
So, how do you? So you mentioned something about like there's some sort of like tax write-off or something like that when you guys are I'm not sure if you guys are developing buildings or are you guys going to be developing original buildings? Are you going to buy existing buildings?
It's actually a mix of both. We're gonna buy like duplexes and triplexes in the start just to prove the model.
Yeah.
And then eventually we're gonna buy like boxable tiny homes, build them on land.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then can you get those for a lower price than what they're actually listed for, or is there no way to do that? Like,
I feel like they're gonna sell it to us whole price.
Whole price. Okay, so there's not gonna be any difference there. And then are you not gonna work with the government at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We might ask them for a delots, but I don't want there to be any contract to say we can remove the homes that we want. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is like it's a really interesting idea. And I think the fact that you're taking it away from the government, I don't think there's anything wrong with your idea to do this, right? Like there's like you guys are just creating something, but you're gonna need a lot of money,
dude. So much fucking.
But it's
money,
also
man.
like every building that you have, you have to designate a property manager, right, for ongoing maintenance. Like I don't know what the maintenance of like this building that we're in right now, right? Like,
and that's an operational cost.
It's a huge operation.
You'd have to pay.
It's tens of thousands of dollars a month, depending on how big the building is, obviously.
But you know, the beautiful thing is that with AI and with the rumors and whisperings of AGI, we don't know 2 things. We don't know if AI and AGI can help us reduce the cost of building a home. What if it knows a little bit more about 3D printing than we do, and a boxable tiny home is not 30K, but 5K? I think over time, as material costs and construction costs lower, because it's a competitive market, we want to do things for cheaper, it might actually help us and make us be able to build more homes.
What happens if someone dies? Is it the house collapses or something? Are you going to be... How's that going to go down?
I don't know. Like someone like...
Lawsuits.
I know, dude. We don't really have a strong legal team. Like, when we start this...
Like, I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing works. Is that... I mean, you might want to definitely look into this. But that's a whole, like, crazy thing in itself.
Yeah.
It's like people... Like, they're not paying anything, but I'm assuming they can still sue you.
Mm-hmm. We should make it so that they can't sue us, huh?
I don't know how you would do that. I'm not sure.
I wonder what happens in a regular apartment if someone dies. I assume like they take out their stuff, but if it's like a slip and fall and they blame it on us, like.
Yeah, but I was also thinking like if you guys are constructing these places and like what happens if there's like a like something's one of your houses just I don't know like crumbled. I don't know like what how that all.
I would want to know too.
Yeah.
I would want to know too.
I'm saying like you guys are potentially at like since you guys built these or own these, like I imagine, or maybe it's just an extra amount of insurance that you guys have to pay. Maybe it's an extra cost.
Okay.
So maybe it won't matter, but you guys will. I guess it's just an extra probably operating cost. So on top of like actually just normal maintenance, there's probably just a insurance. so that someone wouldn't sue you or couldn't sue you, or at least they could sue you, but then the insurance company would.
That's really good because I haven't thought about that. I know that when we have properties, we own the land and we own the building, and the units are actually a lease agreement. So it's funny. It's like it's a sick paper that says it's the whole contract, and it says like 199 years. Like it's theirs as long as they adhere to the rules of the property. Like, don't threaten the safety of the people around you, and lower your noise control. Don't be blasting music in late hours. But it's theirs. But we have the option to evict them, and I'm sure like landlords and tenants have some sort of agreement of like crazy things like leaving the oven on and exploding the building.
There's definitely levels of insurance, I think, and there's even like renter's insurance, in case someone like breaks in and like steals things and stuff, and I'm sure landlords have insurance as well.
But in theory, like, yeah, we'll need a lot of money, but even with just a little money, like say we start building in Mexico, if we can get free shelter physicalized, that's sick
cool.
as fuck.
No, I think I think overall, I understand. I think it's a cool idea. And how long can anyone live in these places? Can you kick them out?
Well, it has to be the primary residence, but they get to move out whenever they'd like. They'd have to reapply because it's them leaving. The controversy we have is, what if they take a 6-month vacation and you got all these people in the lottery waiting for a unit?
Right, and then that's empty.
Or
what if they rent it out to someone else?
And we don't really allow that. Like, if you own your own apartment, you're allowed to do that. But we think in like universal housing, you shouldn't profit off something that's free.
So then, is that just like something that you can just be, we don't allow this, or is that like
no Airbnbs, no short-term?
And you can just do that. You can, but can I'm just like, how does that work?
Oh,
what is the also, since someone's not paying for it? Are they still under the same? Like, for example, and every state's probably different, but like, let's say there's a state that the renter has a how do I say this? Like, in law, they have a stronger position against the landlord because they say that they can't get kicked out. Because I think in California or something, or San Francisco, there was an
heard
issue
about that, yeah,
or something like that. But since they're not paying, is it technically renting?
Well, the thing is,
like, what is
that's so true. That's so true. In the lease agreement, it literally says each month you owe us $0, but they have to pay their utilities.
Okay.
Like, we think free shelter is a human right, but we just don't think we could get this off of our foot if we pay their utilities.
Yeah.
If we're paying water, gas, electricity, I think the tenant's got to pay. I'm sorry, guys. Like, we're eliminating $2,000 a month for you. Can you pay your $40 water? I hope. But, like, yeah, they would have to pay utilities. I don't know if it is considered renting, but it is an application process where we own the property, so they are our tenants. In the contract, it says, I, tenant, agree to, and then all the rules. So,
have you done any of this yet? Like, do you have any agreements or a place yet?
We have registered ourselves as a nonprofit. We have merch up on our website, and we have content waiting. We're just waiting to tell the world, hey guys, free shelter is coming. But I plan to build the first unit in 3 years. I think we need $1 million to build a prototype model of like a duplex or a fourplex.
Okay.
But it's up. No one knows about it. I think like 10 people in the world know about it. What we just did today is we walked around Canada in David Lamb Park here in Yaletown, and we asked a bunch of the residents if they think free shelter is a human right. It's interesting, man. Like, out of the 10 people we interviewed, like 7 of them said yeah.
Okay.
3 of them said no.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them said, I would not like someone else to pay for my things. I don't want it. Mm-hmm. Then another one said, this would ruin the economy. Now, I'm not an economist, but if you have more money to pay for things, you'll likely spend it on more food, more clothes, more passions, more...
It'd probably come back to the economy.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys are technically, you're buying it. It's not like a government program. Mm-hmm. So it's just you guys are acting on donations.
But here's the biggest reaction we get. The biggest reaction we get is Actum's doing what? Yeah, I think it's right. I don't think it's possible. Personally, I think that what might not make it possible is like, I think it's kind of a dangerous idea, because so many industries rely on people sort of suffering month to month, that if you threaten companies like BlackRock, or if you threaten the government that prefers people to be suppressed, like they'll kill you for it, man. I literally think if someone globalizes universal housing, hit list for sure, man. Like, there's no way that these companies would allow a person to live that is removing their billion-dollar industry. So that's one concern I have, is like literally like safety, because I wonder why no one's done it before. And I think we're like, no one's done it before because you don't get a return.
I think it's just also like, that, and there's a lot of risk because you guys are holding liability, right, on all these things. So like, what happens if you guys can't pay? Like, you just need this money coming in all the time, and you also need more money coming in as you grow, right? And this is all donation based, so it's not just like you're receiving, right?
Yeah.
Or you guys just can't scale. Like, there's no scale here. Like, your scale is fully dependent because you're not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult, because I think even with nonprofits, they still try to become profitable, but you guys are acting solely on donations.
Yeah.
Like a nonprofit organization still charges for things, and then yes, they, like the ones that you pointed out, get paid like $1 million salaries or whatever, some CEOs, but they still need to cover their operating expenses.
Yes.
And they get donations, but they also just actually have services that people purchase, right? You don't have a service or anything that someone's actually spending money on. You're not gaining any money when you build these houses. It's not just like half the price of the rent. At least that's something.
Which is a big leap of faith to say, will the world give to this?
Well, but I think my question though is like, with what I just said, what happens if it goes bad? And now you have potentially all these houses that you have to sell.
So here's what we know. It cannot go bad if we build below our means. So we won't even build a single unit that year if it isn't above, I think the number is 6% of, a 6% stock market win that year will allow us to build. But if it's below that, we don't. And the only number of apartments we build is whatever that 6% gave us. So if it's only 200 grand, we only build 1 or 2 units. So we don't build below, we don't build above our means.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that we purchase, we calculate what the property tax might be in that country for the unit, and we take the average of the S&P 500 to say, and determine, can we afford this 10 years, 20 years down the road? So the only way it could go bad is if we don't build many. But I only see it as we could certainly build some, because people are literally retiring off the stock market. That's called their IRA, their Roth IRA. People are putting all of their wages in the stock market, and the wealthy is parking their millions. Why don't we? Why don't we get ahead by using stable stock market funds? So,
is there a tax write-off for buying houses, like using the money that you make from the stock market and going directly to houses? Like, will you be taxed for all that?
So far, what we've heard from like the finance community and just like prying ChatGPT is, if you're a nonprofit, you don't have to pay capital gains tax on your stock market wins.
Okay.
So usually, I forgot what it is, but I think if I'm in the stock market, I have to pay like 18%. I forgot what it is. We don't, and that's kind of sick. And there are some states in California where you don't have to pay property tax. So you could buy land, not California, in US, you could buy land, not have to pay property tax, and there you go. And we could maintain those buildings. I mean, it would suck if there were broken pipes every day in like 20 countries and we can't maintain it. It sucks, but let's see. I think it's better to get something messy out there than super polished and never do it. I want it to send a ripple effect. And if another company or another group of people think they can do it better, yes. But if no one's talking about it, start the conversation, build some units, share the merch, because it's just about the fairest thing to happen in humanity. All of the people I know are about hustle culture. How do I drive a Lambo? How do I make money? How do I get ahead as an actor? These guys, you met Danny, they just care about seeing this through altruistically. I get nothing from this. I think it's the right thing. Why is that suspicious? One guy said, what are you guys, like, a cult? People don't believe that you can just do things for humanity. It's sus. It doesn't have to be sus, man. I think fuck this hustle culture of, like, making money. I think good on you if you're trying to make your bag, but I think the world forgot that acts of kindness with no return are a possibility. I think we forgot that, you know? And like, personally, like, yeah, I'm on the show, working with Rambo, I'm an actor, but if I am not cast in a movie, the movie will still film. They'll cast someone else. If I don't do Actum, I don't think anyone will.
Mm-hmm.
I literally don't think people are going to say shelter should be free. And if they do, it'll just be a thought before bed and never done.
Mm-hmm.
Next few years, we're going to build some units. And I wanted to run it through you because every time I talk to you, you're just like this very, like, simple, logical-minded person.
Right.
And you ask the questions that are kind of the weak bones. If Actum was a skeleton, there's a couple weak bones. What if someone dies? That's what you ask. And you guys aren't making any money. We don't know yet, and that's why I'm running it through you. Like, 10 people know about this. Is there a subscription service that we have? Do we ask billionaires for their money? We don't know. All we know is, let's share the content, let's raise the money, whatever money we build, let's do it. Personally, I have a goal. It's $30 million. $30 million in 10 years. $1 million in 3 years. A lot of my school spirits money is going to this.
Yeah?
It takes 7 years for anything in the stock market to double. Mm-hmm. So if I give 50K, 7 years it'll be 100. 100K out of 30 million. Will anyone else give? Bro, I don't know, man. There's these OnlyFans models that are giving millions of dollars to Mr. Beast. I think that Actum has the potential to be globally relevant because everyone lives under a roof. It's universal housing. It's not like St. Jude's Hospital Center. We're not asking, do you care about the children, Julia? We're asking, do you want to see a world where your children live for free?
Mm-hmm.
That's universal. So can it get viral? Can we get donations? I hope. Do you think we'll struggle with that? Like, do you think people will care?
I'm not sure. I think it's interesting. I don't know. I have to, like, think about this whole thing a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could potentially struggle.
The world could easily say fuck you, but
yeah.
One of the makeup ladies on School Spirits, she found out about it,
Mm-hmm.
and because she Googled me and saw some article where I talked about it, and she just, like, came into the room, like, wiping her tears and saying, "Are you actually doing this? Is this a real thing? Because you have no idea what the actual, like, the ethical shockwave you're sending." And I said, only about 10 people know about this, and you're the 10th, and that's amazing that a response like that could happen. I told this one British guy we're doing this. He said, "It's fucking poison. Fuck you guys. Communism." I said, "We don't work within a government, and we're not, like, what?"
Mm-hmm.
It's not really communistic. I think people just brainwashed into thinking they gotta earn a living. Well, you gotta earn a right. That's whack. You don't call emergency services and they say, "But how many hours did you work today to get an ambulance?" Like, that's ridiculous. But anyway, let's see if people care. I appreciate your time. I'm so glad that you thought about this thoroughly now. Like, you're really just, like, thinking about it. I hope we get to do it. That's what I've been working on the show is. That's the only reason why I bring my laptop on set.
Yeah.
Is because we're just, like, making content for it and building merch. We have about, like, 30 different kinds of hoodies, 30 different t-shirts and like 10 other stuff like mugs and stickers and caps, that's going to be a source of revenue. Like, we're hoping people will buy the merch.
Yeah, okay.
Like this is cool.
That will be for your, like...
For Actum.
Yeah, okay.
So,
is that still all going to go into the fund for housing? Not to any of you guys?
No.
Really?
I think people are going to donate, but I think they want to wear something and get something out of it. So, after the manufacture costs, every dollar goes to housing. No one takes a cut for anything. So, this is like a $70 hoodie. So, boom, you just got a big chunk.
Yeah, I mean,
from your grandma.
I'm still like, I don't know. I understand the premise of not taking any money for yourself, but I think you eventually, I don't know. I kind of like what you can have, like, everyone's gonna have day jobs, so I don't understand.
Two of them are comp sci. They have
jobs. So then, if this thing's like, say you have $100 million fund that, and you've bought up properties and people are living in them, and there's work to be done, and you guys are still going to be doing your day jobs?
Yes, because our job is to find land.
But what if you can raise $30 more million instead of working your day jobs? You're choosing not to do that.
I don't know. I'm in it for like the tortoise game. I don't know if we're gonna have gazillions to work with. If we have gazillions to work with, I don't know how I'm gonna be an actor. But I do know that it's gonna take a long time. So I have these years to work on it. But I mean, here's the reality. We would probably need, instead of leadership positions, we would have other people running departments. So if we have a guy that literally just scouts land, he would get a humble salary, or get at least like paid for the job, scout land and build the housing, and we have to pay our architects and we have to pay the workers. It's labor. But those in the leadership positions, for something as non-corrupt as this mission, I don't think they should get a penny. Again, yeah, like, if it becomes the biggest thing ever, I don't know where I'd get my money as an actor, but the four of us, they work. One of them works a sales job, one of them works at a hospital, the other works at a tech company. They work on this on the weekends. All we have to do is share content and build the actual units. AI can very well be a property manager. All my apartments, there was never a property manager. There was like 30 people in the building. He's never there. He would just say, call me if there's a problem. Humans can live in a building without a property manager, and who knows again where we could go with AGI. What if in every room there's an iPad, and we have people, paid positions, minimum wage, who respond to tickets? So we have this AI automated system of a ticket system where if there's a problem, our people, working remotely can resolve issues from their home. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. The only reason why you ever need a property manager in a building is to collect rent.
Yeah, I mean, just like, yeah, I know, but like, I just mean like you're gonna have, sure, that, and if there's an issue, right?
Yeah, if there's an issue.
So then you have to send, like, plumbing's messed up, so you send some plumber to fix everything.
And I literally think if you put something like Houston, Texas, any property you build, before you even build the actual unit, you should contact 3 to 5 plumbers, 3 to 5 people who will fix the door, 3 to 5 companies, and the AI just figures out who to call, make sure that it gets done.
Yeah, no, you can definitely save a lot of money with AI.
Yeah. It almost seems like the only way Actum's possible is now. Like, a lot of this work we can't even do in the 80s. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, shit, man.
All right.
Yeah.
An hour.
Oh, fuck. I told you 10 minutes, man. For 10 minutes. Actum, right. Bro.
Good luck.
Hey, if you ever have a single idea, you just email the team.
Okay.
Guys, you're doing this whole thing fucking wrong. Who are we to say no? It's amazing the amount of people who comment on these videos that it's not public, but they're just like, how the fuck can I help?
Well, how do these people find videos?
Well, we just put up like 1 or 2 things, and people are like, hey, they even write letters in our P.O. box. We put up this P.O. box, and people are like, hey, I'm this high school student and I live in Oklahoma. How can I help? Because this is like the coolest thing I've ever heard, and we are doing this for people like you to come and attract and see if our lives can have purpose. Bro, I think a lot of this is volunteer, you know.
Right.
So people, again, the message of the youth: I want to do good. I want to work in a hospital. You really want to work in a hospital, or do you just want to work in Actum, man? Do you want to volunteer and do something good? I think it's like a global volunteer network.
Okay.
It's on Discord. We just opened up a Discord where people who are in like finance, they can give us stock market tips. People who are in construction can tell us what's the least expensive construction materials. And so it's like everyone can participate. And I just started wearing this hoodie around. So like, if like someone can read us on the back,
Yeah.
like, yo, what the fuck do you do? I'm like, what the fuck do you do? She goes, accounting. And I go, hey, can you help us figure this shit out? Take a card. Anyone can be a part of it. I think it's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And you, but you'll tell us if you have an idea, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I have an idea.
Because, Jaden, you want to see a world where free shelter exists, right?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. All right, man. GG's.
All right. GG's.